telling my business to a camera. They all jumping me, but it's cool. I'm getting jumped, but it's cool. And my windows are not tinted. I drive a fishbowl. What could you possibly be looking for? Tell me what you see in me. Gotta be something. I'm gonna get on here and say, and I still don't. Hey guys, this is super nerve-wracking, but this is gonna be the first official, unofficial episode of my podcast. Originally she was called So Lispy, but I'm not really feeling that name anymore. It's this influencer I follow. Her name is True to Liz, and she also has a podcast. And basically, in her very first episode, she just came on here and just got it out of the way and just got it done. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do too. I feel like you can hear my bracelets, so I'm gonna take them off. Thought about this podcast for a very, very long time. My friends are always like, "Where is the podcast? When is the podcast coming out?" I'm trying to get it done, okay? And even in her original podcast episode, she was basically talking about, you know, like faux preparation being a form of procrastination, making sure that things are perfect and ready and doing all these things to prepare for something instead of just going to do the thing. And I, guilty as charged, Your Honor, lock me up, throw me under the jail, because I am so guilty of that. So this is my attempt to combat that and to just put it out there and get it done. A lot of times we just need somebody to listen and somebody to say the things that we need said. I don't have a podcast topic or anything. I think I'm just going to talk about my own life. So right now I am currently unemployed. I worked in TV and film for the last couple of years, and if you don't know, the writers have gone on strike. The writer strike has exceeded 100 days at this point. Then the actors went on strike, the directors went on strike at some point. It was like a whole thing. Yeah, I know. Basically, I was working as like a production assistant. I got promoted to be a production secretary, working my little way up the chain or whatever, and I realized that I didn't like it. Like, I am good at anything. You can teach me how to do anything. My mom was like, I should have been a construction worker because our houses would be stable. Like, I can do anything you teach me how to do. So I was good at it, naturally. But I didn't like it. And I realized that I didn't like it and I didn't necessarily do anything about it. I had moved to Atlanta from Maryland, and basically I just was like, I can't quit my job. Like, I don't even live here for real. Like, my support, my family isn't here. I have a few friends here, and that's literally it. So I just felt like I couldn't quit. And then basically the writer's strike happened and we lost our jobs. Production assistant, you go from being an office production assistant to an production secretary to assistant production coordinator to production coordinator. Like, it's like all these tiers and steps or whatever. So my second show wrapped in December of 2022, and then I had like this 2-month period where I wasn't working. I'm sorry if you can hear those crickets. I had like a 2-month period where I wasn't working, and so I was like, okay, like whatever job opens up, I'm gonna take it. And so I ended up taking a production assistant position, which is, it was strike number one that this was gonna be a shit show, but I didn't. I just felt like I just gotta do what I gotta do. I have bills to pay. I need to put my big girl panties on and just man up, right? Terrible advice from me to me, because no, girl, you don't have to do that. But I went back to being a production assistant. And the moment I got there, I was like, I hate this. I'm not having fun. I'm having a terrible time. I just was like feeling like a bird in a cage, y'all. Like, I did not like it whatsoever. But I couldn't bring myself to leave or to quit, because I'm like, I have rent, I have bills to pay. Like, a lot of times in my life, I feel like people allude to me being kind of gone with the wind or impulsive or, you know, immature, for lack of better terms. And I was just trying to not be that. I was not trying to be that thing. I was trying to be strong and mature and all these other things, and it ultimately ended up not serving me anyway. So I probably should have just did what I wanted to do in the first place, which was quit. Anywho, February to May, I'm working at this job. And when I say I hate it, like, I'm not exaggerating. I hate it. I'm having a terrible time. Like, I'm grumpy as hell. I am just like, I don't want to do anything anybody asks me to do. I'm really not putting my best foot forward. I don't really care. I'm not having fun because I don't want to be here and I don't want to do this. And I knew that already, right? Long story short, the writer strike came and I kept saying I was going on a trip to Jamaica with my cousins. I put that on my YouTube in June. And so I was like, I don't know how they're gonna feel about me taking this trip, because when you work in production, they want your life to revolve around the production, and it's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I'm like, okay, if I can get out of this job before June, I don't even have to worry about that. I can just avoid the conflict totally. I don't want to work here no way anyway. Now, God be listening when we talk because by May, the job was over. Like, writer strike, all of this is happening. And I'm like, wow, okay, cool. God really forsake this whole industry just to get me up out of here. And I'm saying all that to say, like, God be listening. He be listening, and he just be wanting us to come into agreement with what it is that he has called us to do. You know what I'm saying? And so, out of there, May, I'm feeling good. I'm like, okay, great. So, it's so bad. It's so bad. But, yeah, I'm rambling at this point because I have no structure for this episode. I'm really sorry. That was like May 3rd, May 10th. It was like early in May. It is August 17th. And I'm like still jobless. I decided that I was going to finally take this opportunity I've been trying to move to Dallas for like the last 4 years. One of my good friends lives there. I visited him several times and it's always a vibe. And I'm always just like, this should be my life. Like, this should not just be a vacation. I should live here. And I've been trying to get there for literal years and nothing has panned out. Like, it just hasn't worked. And I'm trying to do the smart, responsible thing, have a job lined up, have a place to stay, all of the things, and none of the pieces are all in the same place at the same time. So I'm like, does God just not want me here? Like, is that what it's giving? Like, is this place just not for me? Am I gonna go here and experience something traumatic? Like, what's it giving? What is it giving? I just went through 3 rounds of interviews with this one company that's based in Dallas. Didn't get the job. Just found out a couple days ago. And so I'm like, what is really going on? Like, am I not supposed to be there? Because if you don't want me to go there, like, at this point, just come out and say it. Just come out and say it. Stop playing these games with me. All that is going on. My credit cards are through the roof. I'm missing my payments. I got late fees. It's a whole thing. And I've been asking for help, kinda, but I'm also really not good at that either. But also at the same time, literally, I'm so sorry, I'm telling this story all over the place, but literally days before the writer strike, one of my pastors at my church, she like prayed over me, and in her prayer she basically was like, like basically all of my time of like struggling and just getting by, making ends meet, like it's coming to an end. But I'm going to go through a season where first I have to determine and establish that I am enough. I've been striving and achieving for my whole life, and that has been my way of being. Like, I set out to do something, I achieve it, I feel proud, I feel good, I feel competent. And she was like, that has to end, because it's basically been like interfering with my relationship with God. And basically and I'm still working on this, there's like a lack of trust in God because there's a lack of trust in myself. Like, if I can't do X, Y, and Z perfectly, if I can't execute it all perfectly, then God is not going to want anything to do with me. He's not going to love me. He's not going to want me. And I've been operating like I have to earn God's love. I have to earn God's respect, or like I have to earn my position in the kingdom. And that's not necessarily true. The way I've been going about it, it's not healthy, and it's undermining my relationship with him, because whenever I fail or I fall or I mess up or I backslide or anything, I'm like, ugh, he's throwing me away. He's never going to bless me ever again because I have failed. And he's like, we kind of just got to get that whole ideology up out of here. So now I'm in this season where my car won't start. Somebody broke into my car. My credit cards are drowning me. I'm unemployed. I can't get a job. I'm trying to move. It's literally, I feel like I'm being jumped and they're winning. I mean, you're already losing when you're being jumped, but they like jumping me bad, like real bad. And I'm like, okay, cool. What did I do? Where did I do somebody wrong? Like, how can I make this right? And it has nothing to do with anything other than it's just my time to suffer right now. And this is just my period of suffering. It's not going to last forever. The season has to turn over. The season has to change. But this is just where I'm at right now. And really just trying to be comfortable with that and get okay with that has been very hard. I'm full of a family of like high achievers. I've always achieved highly myself. So they're kind of like, what's going on? Why you don't have a part-time job? Why don't you just go out and do this? You got to take care of yourself. Don't let yourself fall by the wayside. And I'm just like, I literally had to stop all of that. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to tell people who love you and care about you that, you know, I have this instruction from God, and not that they don't believe in God or anything, but they are still human and they still want you to be safe and protected and all the things as best that they can. So I'm literally like I have what I feel like is a direct instruction from God to just sit down. Sit this one out, rest, be still, just chill out. And when I first started resting, it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It's still hard today. And I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Because me resting felt like what I would consider in the past like a stint with depression. It felt like I was sleeping and I was just not doing anything. I didn't have anything going on. I was da 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 da. But this rest was different. Like I was going to the gym. I was going to the grocery store. I was still hanging out with my friends. I just wasn't working to do anything. Like I wasn't applying for jobs. I wasn't doing anything that I would have considered, you know, productive, or that I would have considered me, you know, finding a solution to my problem, getting myself out of my situation. I felt like God was explicitly like, don't try to save yourself. Don't try to finesse your way out of the situation, because every single time I do, when I look back over my past, every single time I've tried to finesse myself out of a situation, I've ended up in a worse situation than when I started with, because I just wasn't patient and I just didn't trust his timing. So now I'm like, hey, I've got enough experience in this area. People are going to be upset with me right now. People are not going to understand me right now. People are going to be worried about me right now, but I know what we got going on. This is just where I'm at. And a lot of the things that I've wanted to do with my life have resurfaced. I've wanted to have a podcast. I've wanted to talk and, you know, just get my thoughts out, get my feelings off my chest. I send my friends audio messages all the time. I have become the audio message queen, okay? I'm going to send you an encouraging word. I'm going to send you an inspirational word. I'm going to send you something that's going to uplift you. Like, I'm going to pray. I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to do all these things in an audio message. And they always respond to me like, where is the podcast? And I'd be like, see about that. What happened was I'm just trying to get this off my chest, okay? I wasn't asking you to like hold me accountable or nothing like that. Like, how dare you? But literally, I'm like, okay, cool, fine. Let's just do it. I'm a songwriter. I've always loved music. I don't feel like my singing voice is the best, so that's a huge insecurity of mine in terms of actually creating music and putting it out. But my friends are always super encouraging, like, oh, we love that. You should put that out. Or, you know, I'm just not there with myself yet. I've been really, really trying to get there. And it goes back to me trying to just be more prepared instead of just taking the leap of faith and jumping off the cliff into whatever the water will have for me. Wanted to be an actress for a long time. especially when I was young. I would like to be like a performer, entertainer. I've always wanted to have my own talk show, and I've always wanted to have my own podcast. And so now I'm just trying to take all these steps. I'm just ticking everything off. I don't have nothing else to do. And I feel like that's another reason why God kind of has stripped me of what I feel like. Outside of my family, I'm so grateful that my family is safe and happy and healthy. But everything pertaining to me personally, it's gone. How my car don't start, and then somebody break into a car that won't start. It won't even start. What do you want? What do you I don't, and my windows are not tinted. I drive a fishbowl. What could you possibly be looking for? Who would have thought? Like everything literally lined up and fell down like dominoes. And I was like, this can't be anything else but God. And people could say that it's the enemy, that it's the devil. But what the enemy meant for evil, God meant it for good. So I'm like, the devil is really out here trying to shake me up. And God is like, okay, cool, let it happen. Finally, let's wrap this up. I'm like, okay, you're right. You're absolutely right. Let's wrap it up. They all jumping me, but it's cool. I'm getting jumped, but it's cool. I will survive. Like, so yeah. So here we are. I don't have a title for this. I don't have a title for this podcast. I think this is just me trying to get comfy, telling my business to a camera, and just talking and being normal, like being myself. Not trying to make, not trying to do like a podcasty voice. Not trying to be anything that I'm not. Not trying to not cuss. Not trying to do anything. What is wrong with this thing? Is it getting hot? Oh, I think my camera overheating. The little overheating sign came on. That's embarrassing. Yeah, this is just me putting my best foot forward and trying my best, because that's all I could do. That's all I could do. So this is episode 1 of a podcast that has no name. I don't know. No name the podcast. I have no idea. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me talk for the last 20 minutes. I don't know if I want to have topics. I don't know if I just want to talk about life. I don't know if I want to take questions. I really don't know. But this is something that's kind of been in the making for a long time. Like I used to have like an affirmations page. Like I've always just wanted to pour into people and build a sense of community. So hopefully this does that. But I really hope that this platform grows and that we use it as an opportunity to get to know each other, to grow with each other, to pour into each other. Once again, I am Samara Anye. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And I will be back with another one.